Sie hören Sport und Musik.
Das Spiel ist aus! Deutschland ist Weltmeister!
In a world where fans fight over whether to call it football, or soccer, two German men defy the odds and call it Fußball. Bringing you inside the German-American football experience. And now, here are your hosts, the Schnitzel Boys.
Yep.
Yeah!
Hallo!
Yeah.
Willkommen to the Schnitzel Boys.
That's right.
We are now two neutral observers.
Completely neutral.
Just watching this World Cup
Just
like most other
watching,
people.
just enjoying it for the quality of the spectacle.
And there is quite a bit of quality.
No emotional attachment whatsoever.
No, that's all gone. That's back. That all finished within days of each other a few days ago. What was it? Germany was eliminated on what, like a Saturday, and USA was eliminated on Monday?
It was the
Something
other
like
way. Was
The other way around?
other way.
No,
around,
USA
right?
was eliminated later because they're the round of 16.
Right. They made the round of
It was
16.
only
They were
like-
eliminated on. They were the first ones. They got eliminated
Tuesday or whatever.
Sunday, and
Sunday,
we
okay.
Saturday, and we got eliminated Thursday.
Okay, there you go.
So after
So
all
within-
that, making it out of the group was only good for 48 extra hours.
48 extra hours. They'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take it.
Definitely.
This is the
Much
first World
better.
Cup. This is the first World Cup in the modern era that the United States did better than the Germans did. So,
Yeah. That has
done.
not happened. 2002 got close.
2002 got very close. It was a
But-
Torsten Frings handball away, perchance.
I was worried.
That's right. Thank God there was no VAR
Yep.
back then. But even if there was VAR, we would have maybe scored
don't
an
know. It
equalizer,
was
then
like
Germany would have won.
It was
that game
right
2-1.
by it was right by his body, the hand. But
That's
certainly
a handball. You can't.
nobody
his hand
would
is out of his body. And
nobody would have complained. Nobody would have complained.
Daniel Young, him,
Daniel
his.
Young
Thank you,
is
guys.
back.
Well, thank you for being here.
Thanks for
We want
coming.
people to come, and you're
It's an
here.
it's a different at a different hour, different day. We thought we'd do it between rounds. Talk a little bit about after the group stage, everything was very exciting, intense. These round of 16 games were a lot of clear winners. Two PK shootouts, everything else was pretty decisive.
However, there was one team that deserved to be eliminated because they were just a little too soft against Japan, and that team was Spain because they wanted second place. And they got second place, and they got Morocco, and they got their butts handed to them, baby. I was rooting for Morocco so hard. Spain goes home. Spain goes home. Spanien weg.
7-0 against Costa Rica, and now that's it. Didn't
No.
matter.
3-0 in penalties against the Morocco.
I did not.
They're gone.
I did not watch a lot of that game. Actually, I just watched the shootout. Both the Japan and the Spain shootout was sort of puzzling in their shittiness. Like it was just the Moroccan keeper, obviously, was very much celebrated for making all these saves. He didn't
Great
concede
save.
a single one, but you or I would have made at least one or two of those saves. Those were not good penalties.
No, I call bullshit. I call bullshit on that. I think they're too
I
fast.
mean,
but
okay, maybe
Bono knows those
we're-
guys.
Perhaps
Bono,
we are not. We are not. That's it's an exaggeration. Maybe we would not have saved it, but these were not. They were not good penalties.
So Morocco and Spain are effectively neighbors. I think 9 miles of water.
I've
splits
been
them
to
apart.
Spain. I have looked at Morocco from Spain myself.
Right, and vice versa. You go to Morocco, look at Spain. But they're worlds apart. North Africa, Middle East, Muslim country, and the other Spain,
Sure, yeah.
royal, Christian, whatever, European country. What that means is La Liga being such a great league is their goalkeeper, Bono, and I'm sure plenty of other Moroccan players, could just go up the channel and play in La Liga. I'm sure there's a lot of Moroccans in La Liga Bono specifically. So Bono plays for Sevilla, a great Spanish club that always punches above its weight. So so when all these Spanish guys go up to take their PKs or penalties, Bono is the guy that's in the know. He knows these guys. He blocks these guys. He knew these guys. So that was an advantage to them. And how does it make you feel, Bjorn, that the group Germany couldn't get out of, both of the teams were eliminated in the round of 16 and couldn't get to the quarters either way?
Well, I certainly feel quite confident that Germany would have done better in the PK shootout.
I don't know, man.
In place of either of those teams, I think.
I don't know.
Do you think this further devalues our performance?
That's the history of it. Remember that PK against who was? Was it against Italy 2 Euros ago, or I don't know where it was. Maybe I think it was. I just remember it being the long. Hey, it was like 15 PKs.
Yeah, it went long ways. Yeah,
and we looked like we were about to lose that pretty openly.
But we did not.
Yeah, thankfully we prevailed towards the end. What was that? That was Germany, Italy, Italy.
Yeah, that was very, very stressful.
Yeah. Or was it 2012? No. 2012, we lost to Mario Balotelli. He scored a couple goals against us.
2016. Yeah, probably 2016. Yeah.
The last time Germany were decent in a tournament. Did they get out of the semis in that one? So that's a freaking hard.
Yeah.
To remember. I just remember Portugal won, even though France was probably the better team in that tournament. Remember that?
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so I got some new swag today. I picked up.
Very nice looking jersey. Looking very trim.
And you got an NYCFC shirt on?
Oh, I got the NYCFC shirt and the Germany, the Schürrle bucket hat.
So this was the Schürrle story.
I'm rocking. Oh yeah, let's hear it.
I got this on like one of those YouTube Shorts things. So who knows how accurate it is? It's just some robotic VO being like, "Do you know this is a fact?" With no sources cited or anything. According to this robot on YouTube, halftime at the 2014 semifinal between Germany and Brazil, we were up 5-0. And Joachim Löw told the boys to just like take your foot off the gas. It's going to be embarrassing. Let's just leave it at 5 goals. That's that. Apparently, Andre Schürrle was in the bathroom dropping a deuce during that speech.
He missed it.
He missed the speech. And in second half, when he came off the bench, he freaking set up a goal, and he set up 2 goals, right, or something.
He scored one for sure.
I do remember.
It sort of he scored one. It sort of came off his shin and went in the top left corner, and he made this like he celebrated, going like, sort of like I didn't really mean to. I didn't even mean to do that. Really, I got sort of lucky. It bounced the right way. Like
but that's proof that he didn't miss the speech taking a dump, like that YouTube robot said. Because if he was regretful in that goal, that means he heard the speech.
He heard the thing. Yeah, or maybe somebody told him. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, yeah, it's like.
Also, how soundproof are those bathrooms? I mean, isn't the locker room just right over there? I don't know. I've never been.
No, me neither. No, that's interesting. I don't know. I mean, it definitely felt like they were going a little easy, but I mean, that game was over. And Brazil kind of did the same to South Korea, it felt like. I made that joke on it. Somebody on text is like, yeah, Brazil knows what it's like. They should be a little nice.
Sensitive. We all remember the tears. We all remember the tears of David Luiz after the game.
Well,
we just wanted to bring happiness and we failed. I'm sorry, Brazil, and all that. Beautiful, sweet, sweet tears that Germans tasted in their soup for the ultimate success.
It was pretty great. Oh my God, I do remember that very clearly. I mean, it was sort of surreal. Like it was sort of fun the first half hour, but then it was very, very, very strange, very weird.
Yeah. I remember I've rewatched the game a couple times, and in the very beginning, Brazil kicks from outside the box and just misses the goal. The whole audience, the whole crowd just goes, ooh, like almost, which was not an almost. And it was just a perfect indicator that like Brazil was not a good team that year. And it's just like, if that's what you got, Germany's going to punish you. And sure enough, they did.
I think Thiago Silva being out in that game was big. With Thiago,
Neymar also being out.
Yeah.
No,
But Thiago Silva even more so.
right.
I don't think Thiago Silva is in that game. They don't concede 7. I don't think.
But I tell you, Brazil is back, and they're done being
They're looking
not the
good.
best team anymore. They're like, we haven't won a World Cup in 20 years. We're Brazil. Pele's in the hospital. Let's do this. We're Brazil.
I would
And I love
say this kind of, I don't know. Tell me what you think. I think a lot of the time in a World Cup, there's a lot of hype about the star players, right? They throw out these names, and then oftentimes they are not really the protagonists. It's like
Right.
other people, and a lot of casual viewers are like, "What is up with this Messi guy? Like, he doesn't seem
Right.
to be that good." Or
My brother-in-law swears that Messi's overrated, and the only reason he thinks
Because
that
he-
is because he's only seen World Cups.
only seen him in the World Cup.
And
But
it's like,
this one is different. The stars
Right.
are out. The stars are
well,
except for
Neymar
Ronaldo,
and
but
Cristiano Ronaldo are out.
well, Neymar played quite well in the
Yeah.
in the
I guess
round of
Cristiano
16.
Ronaldo is the exception.
Mbappe had an absolute
Right. No, you're right. You're right. I think
thrashed the game. Messi's been
Messi's
very
good to go. Messi scored his first ever goal in a knockout round in the World Cup, which is mind blowing because he's been at World Cup since 2006.
Well, they
so this is what his fifth World Cup. So that blows my mind. And then you're right. Mbappe is playing. I guess Neymar is fine. I think Cristiano Ronaldo is the only one not showing up, but he's just
Cristiano
doing this weird,
Ronaldo didn't get that. That was a gutsy.
He's
gutsy
doing this
call.
Weird, Cristiano Ronaldo is doing this Charlie Sheen thing, where he's doing this like manic, like episode, which has been going for months now, but he's not. Like he's just a baby who's past his prime, really. And I love that it culminated into Fernando Santos benching him because he was whined on his way out of the game, which he didn't realize at the time. He saw it later in his own little coach's VAR, I guess, where he saw after the fact. So he benched him with this young whippersnapper from Benfica who frickin' scored a hat trick.
I mean,
a beautiful hat trick. It's like, oh, that's his coming out party. That's the beauty of the World Cup.
The coach is like, thank you very much for doing that because pretty unambiguous.
Not only did they win, they won amazingly, and it's almost like now we definitely aren't going to play Cristiano Ronaldo anymore.
We've been hearing it. You've been hearing it here on the Schnitzel Boys for a while, right? Like Ronaldo, if you want to be a top class team, you could not play Ronaldo at this point. It's like playing a man down off the ball.
Yeah, and the only club that wants him is some club in Saudi Arabia.
It's for 200. Please, go to Saudi Arabia. That's fine.
Get lost. Go make your money. Get out of here. I don't want to see you anymore.
But I did not think the Portuguese. I don't think Portugal would be able to. They would be able to do that, but they're like, listen, we're in the knockout rounds here. They have a good team. I mean, Bruno is a completely different player with Ronaldo not there, and so
Pepe scored at 41.
Pepe scored
or whatever,
at
40 or something. 76 years
40.
old. Pepe scored his first goal during the 1938 Benito Mussolini World Cup.
Oh my God.
He was a young whippersnapper back then, but he's a vet now.
Now he's a little bit older.
He's a little older now.
Pepe, he's 38 and he looks 42.
He's bald. It's hard to tell if you're bald. You did it right. Because if you're bald, you just look like that forever.
Yeah, he got a goal and the team looked good. Portugal without Ronaldo could be a contender. With Ronaldo, no way. So
yeah, it's looking like that, right?
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. That was interesting. But other than that, Argentina looked good. Although I had some thoughts watching that Argentina-Australia game was interesting to me. Thinking back to the US-Iran situation where people are like, why can't we
the hostages from the 70s?
Why can't no?
Which US-Iran situation? Which one? There's a lot of US-Iran situations.
As soon as I said
the Oliver North controversy where he
I was just thinking very recently about the game that was played. I don't know if you caught it a few days ago,
game?
Not that long ago. Soccer game between the US and Iran.
I don't like soccer. They spend too much time falling on the ground, pretending to be injured. What's that all about? Boo, soccer.
Oh, you're one of those.
What's
You're
that
one
all
of those
about?
people who come out every 4 years with the anti soccer takes.
A friend of mine put on
Ties?
Facebook.
What is this?
I know, and on Facebook, and I'm just like, I always want to be like, what a glorious way to announce you have no understanding of something.
I know. I am
just like,
stupid and
You're
proud
allowed
of
to
it.
ask. You're allowed to ask. It's like, there is a reason why that happens.
It's also that people, people can't just. It seems like people can't just not like soccer. They have to
Right.
ostentatiously not like soccer. They have to have a reason for it.
Yeah.
It can't be
don't
like,
get
oh, I
ties.
don't.
Why
Can't
do
be
they
like,
fall
oh,
around?
I don't care. I don't care for this. I'll just watch
like-
something else. No, it's like this is an assault.
Fox News had an anti-soccer report on, which I was expecting.
Of course they
But I
do.
find it extra hilarious because who's broadcasting the damn World Cup? Fox.
Sabotaging their ratings. Oh man, yeah, it's like it's really wild that's
It's a tradition, just like
happens.
Christmas.
Anyway,
Every 4 years, the U.S. has an anti-soccer tradition.
people come out on Twitter, and then other people go get into it. They're like, "No, you are wrong. Soccer is good." It's like this is not a winnable.
I don't
it's not a
engage.
winnable argument.
My policy is very simple. We have enough fans. You kidding me? How expensive tickets are, how long the lines are?
Right.
We don't need any more fans. So if you're not into it,
we have any.
stay away.
Yeah.
Stay
If you're
away.
not, it's fine. It's okay. It's totally fine to not. I mean, listen. Sometimes I wish I. Anyway, so
they do fall over too easily. Go stick to football where they put pads on in commercials all the time. Go do that.
Anyway, what I was gonna say 10 minutes ago is that
the U.S. Iran situation,
the U.S. and Iran,
soccer
the soccer game where people were like, "Oh, why can't we, sub in Gio Reyna and play keep away and get be able to not." To run out this game, and Argentina had very similar problems against Australia. It's just not easy. Australia really also not a good team.
Well, Spain and Morocco, like my good friend Alejandro, Spanish, was just like, we need to learn how to score against a team that defends. It's like, it's hard. If your whole team is in the box the whole game, you can't break them down. There you go. On to penalties we go. So
yeah. And I mean, it's just the game. The game is just like that sometimes. You have these, and even Australia, they got a goal, they got a fluky goal, and then they had a chance to tie it in the last second. They, ball bounces around. It's just sort of the nature of the low scoring. If you can keep it close, you're never really out of it. Even in the most sort of lopsided matchup, you're gonna get something.
So what you're saying is the U.S. should have done much better against Netherlands. Because I look at Australia, Argentina. I'm like, look at them do way better against Argentina than we did against Holland. And you look, there's only like two. If you had to rank of the 8 games, if you had to rank a game from like least embarrassing to most embarrassing, we would probably be third from the bottom. So the Swiss were by far the most embarrassed, right? The Swiss by far.
Well, let me see then. Hold on.
And then Senegal, right? 3-0. That was pretty bad for Senegal. I would probably put that second to last. And then it's USA Netherlands.
No,
right?
Korea.
Oh, you're right. Korea.
Korea against
Brazil. That would be right above
Brazil. That was a blowout. Poland had nothing against France. I disagree.
What was the Poland-France score?
It was 3-1, but it felt like, I mean, the one was a fluky penalty in stoppage time. That was Poland had nothing. I don't agree. I think
well, then where would you rank it? You'd rank it
I would rank it.
Let me look at the results here.
Senegal. I would rank it probably behind the shootouts.
Here we go. We have Netherlands 3-1, Argentina, Australia 1.
I would rank it fourth. I would rank it fourth.
Yeah, the shootouts, and then Argentina, Australia, and then Netherlands.
And then Netherlands. Yeah, I would say. I don't think it was an embarrassing.
I'm not saying it's embarrassment. Just rank it. So it's right. You actually make me feel better. So it's like 4. It's like right in the middle.
Yeah,
it's right in the middle.
For sure.
The shootouts did better because even when the shootouts was Spain losing, it wasn't Spain winning. That's pretty embarrassing.
Right.
If you lose the shootout as the higher ranked team, that gives you a little weight.
Well, I
gives you
think
some weight
that's
to it.
why they had some heavy legs, like walking up. They definitely felt the pressure. But yeah, I mean, I think that Argentina-Australia game wasn't as close as the score suggested. I think that could have been a much bigger. But I mean, in terms of the game, Australia had a real chance to tie it at the end. So I think, yeah, I guess maybe that was a little bit closer, but I thought it was comparable in terms of the certainly, like, if the Netherlands and the US play 10 times and Argentina and Australia play 10 times, I would definitely bet on the US to win more of those games.
All right, I'll take that bet. But so before the World Cup, Argentina was like the big bad wolf. I'll tell you, Argentina's winning, but they're not destroying anybody. I think Brazil is freaking running away with it right now.
Yeah.
France is pretty dang strong.
France is looking
good. And Portugal just, I don't know, had kind of a coming out party. I mean, 6-1 against Switzerland
without
in the knockout round without Ronaldo. That's that's saying something.
I mean, that seemed a little bit like the team kind of
it's like, we're free,
making a point, right? Being like, yeah, we like this very much. This is very good, and we like it very much, and we would like to keep doing it this way.
What if Portugal wins the World Cup because they bench Ronaldo? What if that's like the thing
it's
that
possible. I think they're up there. I mean, we're gonna at this point, right? We're gonna see. We're looking at. We have Netherlands against Argentina. That's gonna be interesting.
Because again, Argentina are favorites or whatever, but the Netherlands are doing great. Louis van Gaal is full of tricks. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I put that at a pretty big 50-50, right?
That could go close. I mean, that's also a classic matchup. They had the 1978 final. I actually am old enough to remember. And that should be close. I think I would give Argentina the advantage, but Argentina's been vulnerable defensively. They don't look. A friend of mine, shout out to Mark Faison, was saying that you cannot win the World Cup with Otamendi as your center back, and we'll find out. But I think that might be true. They're not super. They're a little loose defensively. France against England, huge matchup. No,
real quick. Go ahead. All Louis van Gaal has to do is find a way to isolate Messi, and Louis van Gaal could probably figure that out. He's like, if I do X, Y, and Z, that eliminates Messi, and there you go. So I could see that match going to penalties or something, scoreless. I don't know. I think Argentina are favorites, but I wouldn't be surprised if Netherlands was able to figure that out.
That's possible. And then France, England, you would have to give France the edge, but England's
looking good.
That's the whole Southgate mentality, is the defensive stability, and we'll see if they can hold on to that. Like France look good against Poland, but England are better. So we'll see. Croatia, Brazil, you gotta
give it to Brazil.
Give it to Brazil. Although
Croatia's
again, Croatia is probably the best team that they've played so far.
Yeah, Croatia's a little aged, I think. And I think they'll hold them. I think it won't be a high-scoring game or anything. But I think Brazil, just like how they handled Serbia in the first round, they'll find. I think it'll be a similar match. Croatia has better players. Don't get me wrong, but I think they play a similar type of soccer, and I think Brazil will use some creativity to figure that out and get a goal at the end or something.
Probably, I would imagine. I mean, but they also, until this game, they were not as they scored in the second half, and it wasn't like as free flowing. This was a pretty good game for them. So yeah. And then Morocco against Portugal. Who knows? I mean, Morocco.
I would love for it to be Morocco again.
But it'd be great. Morocco, Brazil in the semis would be awesome.
I think it'd be great. I want some surprises here, I would love for Morocco to go a little further. I think that's the end of it. I think Portugal's going to figure them out, and I think they have been a little more rotated. I think Morocco is not as rotated as Portugal is. But and the way Portugal played, it's not a guarantee. With the World Cup, every game is its own little thing. So just because some team won 6-1 last week, doesn't mean jack for the next.
No, game, that's really. The math. The math doesn't. And for every if you look back for every World Cup run, there's always that game. There's always that game where you kind of make it through, but you're not, you get a little lucky, or you're having a bit of a hard time. In 2014 for Germany was the Algeria game,
right? With
and
it
it
could
could
be
be
afterwards.
and so it's not, the teams, and sometimes the teams that have had it easy are lacking a little bit of that resilience, and then kind of can't come back when there's some kind of adversity. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I think Argentina probably has already been through that with their loss to Saudi Arabia, and so they are maybe more ready. I don't know. The Netherlands might be feeling a little too good about themselves. We'll see. It'll be interesting. I mean, these are all great. All four of these are really unmissable, I think. And I was saying this before. The stars are showing up. Aside from all the BS that we've obviously talked about, it's been a pretty great tournament.
It's been a great tournament, but just like a good World Cup, stars are showing, like new stars are coming. Mm-hmm. Corey Gakpo, and then what are the other? The Moroccan team. Like certain surprises show up, and then they are showing up.
Could have been Musiala. Musiala could have been one of them.
Musiala and Ener Valencia also in the opening round, how good he was. And, and for a lot of foreigners, a lot of Americans are coming out in this tournament. There's nothing but links to different bigger clubs from X, Y, and Z and blah, blah, blah. So in addition to the stars showing up, except for Germany, for the other stars showing up, the new stars are also showing up. So, this is a big time. This is, like I said, it's a big summer for Cody Gakpo. Lewandowski finally was able to score a goal at a freaking World Cup this time, even though he's gone, So, yeah, it's really exciting. I give Brazil the tournament. Bjorn, who's going to win the World Cup? Stefan says Brazil. What do you think? Who's winning?
I'm going to say France.
Ooh, I think a Brazil-France 98 rematch is coming, but I think Brazil is going to get the revenge. The story of the 98 final, right? The whole secret, the controversy there, and all that stuff.
Remind me.
Well, Brazil didn't show up. France won 3-0, and Brazil were remarkably bad, and they didn't even warm up. Something happened in that locker room, which to this day no one will share. The locker room will take that secret to the grave. However, rumors are,
here on the Schnitzel Boys, we know more.
We know more because Stefan, your boys, guys, ears to the ground. Ronaldo, OG Ronaldo Fenomeno, best player in the world when I was watching.
Fat Ronaldo,
little fatty Ronaldo. Back then he was thin and not fat, but he had problems. He had tremors. He had night terrors and tremors, and he had epileptic seizures.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
That he does not share with anybody.
Oh, wow.
And he had a big epileptic seizure either that morning or that night on the eve of the game. And that's why his name was actually taken from the roster. And his name was removed, but then re-added last minute. And the French were sort of not taken by surprise, knew it was going to happen. But there was something with Ronaldo that happened. And like I said, he got sick or he had his epileptic seizure. They were going to remove him from the roster, but he said, no, please put me in. I think a couple of his mates were just like, yeah, we got to play him. So they put him on the lineup, but he was not 100%. And they played that game like zombies in that final. And the Brazilians don't want to talk about it. And that was the 98 World Cup final from a Brazilian perspective. And so for Brazil and France to have a rematch here in 2022, it would be a nice rematch.
That would be interesting.
Like, all right, let's get this done this time.
Took it all out on Germany 4 years later in the final.
Yes, the 4 years later they came back and they won. They won with
something happened in the Germany locker room.
Yeah, this is what happened. They're like, dude, are we in the final? It's like I play second division.
What happened?
These guys
are really good. I don't know.
really good. It's like I play for Bayer Leverkusen.
Have you seen this team? They're very good.
This is going to be different than a game against South Korea, the United States, and Paraguay.
Yep.
Yeah. So So you give it to France, I give it to Brazil.
First half was respectable, but that was it.
In the 2002 final?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't too bad. I don't know. I just remember Germany, like Oliver Kahn kicked it out because this was before the sweeper keeper. And 100% of the time, the Brazilians got the ball. Like it never went to a German player ever.
Oli Kahn, I don't think could complete a pass if you paid him.
And they did pay him. They paid him handsomely.
He was the absolute epitome of a shot stopper. Like,
yeah,
I think
he was a great
goalkeeper.
You
gave him the ball, he would punt it. That's it.
Right.
Has
but,
he
but,
ever?
But then
is there footage
side,
of Oliver Kahn passing the ball to somebody ever? I don't think so.
We have to dig deep for that. But like, there was a moment at the very end that Metzelder should have finished. He finished a huge. He had a Chris Wondolowski moment at the end there. Like there were opportunities. We should have capitalized on a couple opportunities, and we just did not. And Brazil's always had the ball, and they only scored on a mistake because it was raining, and Oliver Kahn should have punched it, supposed to caught it,
dropped it.
Anyway, we can talk 2002 all day.
I have another thing to say about this quarterfinal matchup. And this is relevant to us with an interest in the U.S. men's national team. There were 7 coaches of the 32 in this tournament that were on their second World Cup cycle entering this tournament.
Oh, right. And none of them in the quarters.
7,
except for Chiche.
5 of them. 5
really?
of them. 5 of the 7.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Are in the quarterfinals. So this a little bit. I read actually credit goes to Henry Bushnell for writing for Yahoo Sports. He had an article today about the second cycle business because that's what we're learning now. Everybody is pondering. Greg Berhalter and U.S. Soccer are in negotiations about his contract. His contract's up at the end of the year. Is he gonna return? Do people want him to return? Does he want to come back? Do people?
U.S. Soccer is offering an extension. It's up to Greg whether he's going to take it or not.
Oh, that's what's happening.
Yes.
Oh, you know this? Okay.
Well,
I thought I just heard heard they're talking. I just heard they're talking. I didn't hear like, oh, for sure. I guess that makes sense if you're down to right. Anyway, but there is, and myself included, I had the same sort of sense of like, oh, second cycle never goes as well as the first, blah blah blah, and he had some interesting thoughts about this. First of all, being that 5 of these 7 coaches in their second cycle are in the quarter, so the recent numbers are pretty good. And then the larger point is, you only get a second cycle if you did pretty well in your first cycle. So that then also makes you more likely.
Can I give an exception? Can I give an exception
less successful in your second cycle?
Can I give an exception to that?
Please.
His name is Hansi Flick.
Hansi Flick's going to go big in his second cycle.
Joachim Flick. I don't know if that's his name, but I'm making it up. He is being offered a second term, and he did not do well in his first cycle. So I just want to offer an exception to that rule.
Well, but then he is in a prime position to improve in his second cycle, though. He could be the exception of the exception. But a lot of the time, I mean, being the larger point being like you do well one year and then you get the extension and then you don't do as well. It's sort of normal. It's just hard to have continued success in the World Cup.
I think that's very cool. I'm glad that those guys are doing it. I guess there are exceptions. It's not rocket science. However, can I give a little history lesson here? Can I do a rundown of the U.S. soccer coaches cycle?
Yeah, go for it.
So U.S. soccer has never not offered an extension to its national team coaches because they're lazy or whatever. So the history goes like this. Now in 1990, Bob Gansler was not, I don't know if he was offered one or not, but that was a whole different time. They didn't even have any money back then or whatever. So the first sort of big coach they hired was Bora Milutinovic at the behest of Franz Beckenbauer. Mm-hmm. Franz Beckenbauer told, what's his name, Rothenberg, whoever ran U.S. Soccer, Hans Steinbrecher, or one of those guys, to be like, hire Bora Milutinovic. He's a specialist. He's good. I hired Bora. Bora had an assistant named Steve Sampson. He did it. Bora left, but then they offered the extension to his assistant, Steve Sampson, who then led the U.S. into its worst ever World Cup ever in 1998. So they fired him. They hired Bruce Arena.
Lost to Iran.
Lost to Iran. Lost to Iran 2-1. Bruce Arena was then hired, the most winningest coach in USA history because of those college titles, which would be totally foreign today.
Did very well.
Did very well in 2002. Did not do very well in 2006. So he was let go for Bob Bradley. Bob Bradley did pretty well in 2010. And then he was offered an extension. Again, he was fired a year in after losing 5-1 to Mexico in the Gold Cup final or something. So they hired Jürgen Klinsmann, who was there for 3 years up to 2014. Did okay in 2014. He had Bertie Vogts as a supervisor. So I don't know exactly how much X and O's he was doing. Bertie Vogts was maybe doing a lot of that stuff. And then Klinsmann was offered a second cycle, like always, like they all are. He was offered it 6 months before the World Cup, by the way. A huge contract, $3 million a year or some crap. And then we led that led to us not qualifying. That led to COVID. Us not even qualifying.
Yeah, he then got canned because
canned and it destroyed the whole.
He believed his own hype.
Believed his own hype. Then we got Greg Berhalter coming in. Got us back to where we were pretty much. Got this young crew ready. So U.S. soccer historically always offers an extension. That's kind of why I'm confident that they're offering an extension now. And U.S. soccer always it's always a failure. So if Greg Berhalter does this next 4 years, and he does very well, that'll have broken the entire pattern of U.S. soccer history.
Yeah, I mean they can't be mucking around, right? The next one is the big one. It's home. It's quarterfinals or bust, right? 2026. I'm not saying
semifinals, semis, baby.
Ooh, really?
We're hosts. If Korea can do it,
but I mean that's the thing, right? It's like there's 6 teams that think they're going to win it. There's like 8 teams who think they should make the semifinals. Everybody wants to make it out of the group, but it's like there's not that many spots. So
what I will say is
it's hard.
I had a Reddit discussion with someone, and we were back and forthing, and pretty much I'm like, why can't we be a team that grows into expecting ourselves to be in the top 8? And he's like, we can't be, because the behavior of a country that expects itself to be in the top 8, and he lists all these things. The one thing he listed was soccer is, and 9 times out of 10, the most major, it's 10 times out of 10, the most major sport, if not the only sport for these elite countries, like a Deutschland, like a Holland, like a France. It's in their culture. It's ingrained. And it's so the fact that, and I thought about that, and I'm like, yeah, that's not like it here. But I'm wondering if we can be an exception, because the American way of life, we're so huge that even though soccer is niche, it's niche to 20 million people. That's more than the population of the Netherlands. So can't we be a niche sport? But it also takes
a long time, for these. Like, what other, obviously they used to be powerhouses that have faded. The Hungary of the 50s, like Scotland,
Uruguay
in the 70s, 80s. Uruguay, right? They won twice. Not really contenders now. So, but then other countries, like, it takes so long, like even France or Spain, like, it took them many, many decades to even win it. And those are like huge. I mean, and it's also just like you're looking at these quarterfinals, these are all heavy hitter countries, right? Netherlands, Argentina, France, England. Morocco is the only exception. You could think.
But they're in front of a home crowd. That's the thing.
But they have the. But Croatia made the final 4 years ago, Brazil. So these are all heavy hitters. And that's the quarterfinal. We're not even at the semis. Quarterfinal, all big countries. So we have Italy, didn't even make it. Germany is out. Spain is out.
There was a photo on Facebook going around that had a picture of Italy, Spain, and Germany, the 3 World Cup winners in a row. And then they said none of these teams have won a knockout round match since they've won the World Cup.
Since then,
or something like that.
It's true. So there's a lot of you can fill. That's the point I'm making. You can fill a quarterfinal with a lot of very heavy hitters, and not get to the U.S. or not get to. It's hard to break into that group.
Okay,
And,
Bjorn.
but I think. Okay.
You finish your thought. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say. I think the U.S. is close. It's getting close, sir.
I thought so
Close-ish.
too, but part of me is wondering if that's a fallacy and we're not close.
I think
Part of
there's
me
a
is, like, turning
lot
that
of
around.
there are a lot of I think systemic improvements that are. I was reading that column. Matt Doyle had this column about his predictions 4 years ago who made the roster, which he got like 6 people right, which is not bad, I think, over the course of 4
Right.
years.
Yeah, it's not bad.
But you read those names and some of those make you laugh. It's like Danilo Acosta was supposed to make the squad. But anyway, there is a systemic change has happened. Like the academies are working. You have these pipelines. There's people all over the place. And so it's only gonna solidify and get better. Now, is that gonna mean making the quarterfinals every time? No. Germany just went out group stage twice in a row. There's no guarantees ever. But I think the US are on the way to become one of those teams. You can make the case now that MLS is the best league outside of Europe. I don't know. That's not a.
No, you can't. Come on now.
You can't. What's better? Brazil, probably. What else?
Mexico.
Liga
Brazil.
MX. I don't think
just because they lost once doesn't mean MLS is better. Of the 10 times we've competed, the Leagues Cup. I mean,
we're gonna see. We're gonna see what happps. I think
is Mexico a million miles better? No, but they're a little bit better. They are.
Not anymore. I don't think so. I would say it's about even. They have a lot of Liga MX has a lot of financial issues. I think the tide is a little bit turning. Anyway, I'm not saying.
What I will say to that though is there's multiple ways to look at it. The only reason we're getting more competitive is because we're stealing their players. Like our best players are also Mexican. Their best players are Mexican, and our best players are Mexican. So there's two ways. Your point being, there's different ways to look at how successful a league is. Is MLS successful developing American players? Yeah, it is. But are the biggest stars in MLS American? No, they're for it. Are the biggest stars in Liga MX Mexican? Yeah, they are.
Right. But their national team also is in a period of flux, transition. Yeah. So
I know. But Brazil,
anyway, I'm not saying it's a no-brainer, but you can make certainly it's possible, maybe likely that by 2026 MLS will have surpassed those leagues.
One can hope. Especially if Cristiano Ronaldo lands in Miami. Like Daniel Young, he, him, his is especially. Anyway, real quick. So this is a very good discussion. A couple thoughts. I'll do one quick quiz thing, and then we'll go back to
trivia. I never know your questions that you ask me.
This isn't trivia.
Okay, let's hear it.
This isn't trivia. This is more mind meld. There's an improv game called Mind Meld. Remember Mind Meld?
I'm familiar.
We're on the same thing. So I believe there is a club, right? I think only 7 or 8 countries have ever won the World Cup. I think 7, right? Or maybe it's 8. Maybe let's say it's 8. Uruguay, Argentina, Italy,
Germany, Brazil,
England, Germany, France, Spain.
France. Yeah,
so that's 8. We got 8 countries, right?
Did we say Argentina? Yeah.
Yeah. I mentioned Argentina. So 8 countries. That have ever won it. And I've been lucky that in my time watching soccer, it started in the late 90s, 2 teams were added to that club, France and Spain.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, there are 4 countries in the club that are good enough to win a World Cup, but have never won a World Cup.
Okay.
What and I'm talking modern teams. So I'm ignoring Hungary or the mighty Scots, I guess. Was Scotland ever really that good of a national team?
No, not like they were going to win it, but they
were better.
They qualified. They made the semis in the 70s. Somebody, yeah.
There are 4 countries in a club that have the quality to win a World Cup, and in my mind, can realistically join the club right now. And by now, I mean like not necessarily this tournament, but in the 2010s, let's call it.
So Holland, Portugal.
Okay, that's 2 of the 4, correct?
I mean, you gotta include Croatia, I guess. They made the final last time.
That's 3 out of 4.
I mean, Belgium was thinking they could,
Bing,
but
bing,
like,
bing, bing, bing,
that's
bing.
it.
That's the 4. That's the 4.
Yeah, well, okay.
I mean, I know Belgium didn't. I'm not saying they're guaranteed to win, but Belgium,
They're
and
in
Croatia.
Yeah, I mean, I guess those
Portugal,
are the 4.
Holland.
Those are before the tournament. Those are the 4 teams that you would name. Yeah, as.
And
All right,
3 of them
I
are
got
still
it.
alive,
Whew.
right? 3 of them are still alive. So 3 of them could join the club. And maybe Portugal just showed us with their coming out party against Switzerland that maybe they are about to join the club.
Yeah.
So it is a very exclusive club. That's all I'm going to say that. And then going back to the U.S. being able to join the club. Yeah, I'm hoping. A lot of people are saying our future is bright. It is. I'm hoping this isn't just a generation. What I'm hoping is this is just the beginning of what's come to expect. We're going to have a lot more players come out the pipeline. We're going to have a lot more players come to compete. So in 4 years' time, this core is in their late 20s, and they're surrounded by a bunch of other 20, 21-year-olds.
Yeah, there's going to be
doing what they're doing right now.
Much more competition. Yeah.
I'm hoping.
I mean, even it's a little bit what I talked about right last time. The now you have Pulisic. He was the
first one.
He was the first one. He was the trailblazer. He was the guy. But even now, he's just one of many,
right.
And it's almost that's almost the problem, right. That he's
the
guy,
Musa.
But he's not the guy. Yeah, there's plenty of other talent. Yeah.
You saw your TikTok I put out? You saw the big TikTok?
Yeah. Very nice. Very nice.
That's right.
A
lot of comments. A lot of people agree. A lot of people disagree. Yeah. Actually, they're either agreeing friendly wise or they're agreeing like we're idiots.
Right.
Yeah, they're like, if that's the conclusion, then you're 4 years too late or some crap.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Some dumb thing. Anyway, internet comments are the best.
I thought
Daniel Young him.
I was again reminded of that when I was watching the France game, France against Poland, because Mbappe, and this, I mean, France was completely dominant. It wasn't really in question, but like for a while, Mbappe is that guy where it's like, oh, it's high usage, like everything goes through him, and it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag, Right. But then he delivers. He scored like 2 incredible. If you're that guy, because it comes at a cost, and you see it with Ronaldo now to an extreme where he really is not that good, but he still demands, the team sort of goes through him, and then it becomes really destructive. But even somebody at that high level, you're like, he has to deliver, or else it's almost not worth it, to have. Right. I mean, and he is, of course, amazing, and he has delivered. But that is the problem. Really, the only person that I can think of that doesn't have that problem is Messi, because Messi just makes everybody better. Like he's also a good passer. Like he is not like I think having him on the team doesn't seem to come at a price, I feel like. Compared to other players.
No, I agree. But anyway, going back, so with the pipeline, I am not 100% satisfied with our pipeline. I'm a little frustrated. I'm going a little bit of a rant maybe here.
Okay.
So I'm just jealous because when Germany
go ahead. No, please go ahead.
When Germany needed to fix itself, what did it do? The Das Reboot invested money and systematically put training centers and yada yada, and really did a great renovation. Does it require more renovation?
In this case, they just fired Oliver Bierhoff. It was the hotel. He picked the wrong hotel, and that's why
Bierhoff's fault.
That's why we're out. Bierhoff out.
I know, it's ridiculous. I forgot. So Oliver Bierhoff was the one. So in 2 bad World Cups, the only guy the only person who ever paid for it was Oliver Bierhoff, the hotel picker.
Booked the hotel. Yeah. Booked a terrible hotel.
I'm sure he did a really good job, to be honest, because his 2014 was amazing, and the dude does good.
People have said, I mean, he's been, I don't know. Who knows? It's so hard to know.
I'm not
what
losing
goes
too much
on.
sleep. I'm not losing exactly that. Well,
Yeah.
It's one of those positions where you don't know what's going on. We should talk a little more about other things German soccer in a second. Let me do a U.S. youth rant, and we'll do German soccer.
Please rant away. Don't let
let's
me.
happen in
Don't let
Germany.
me
Germany,
keep
blah
you
blah
from
blah.
your rant.
France. We need to be a good soccer nation. They built a super academy. Boom. They became the best freaking European team. Right. There are ways to fix it. Here in the United States, we get eliminated by the round of 16, and we're always just like, either it's fine or it's good, And I'm just if I'm working at U.S. Soccer, or if I'm Donnie G up at MLS, but more U.S. Soccer, we have the same discussion we've had for 30 years. It's always like, well, the youth development's pay to play, and we can't really get into cities, and there's all these what we can do to do better. And here we are with this great U.S. squad, young squad, and this young squad came aggressively from dual nationals. So a lot of these players were trained elsewhere, including our Americans, Christian Pulisic and Weston McKennie, and all their training was elsewhere. They went to Germany for that. They went to Germany to get trained so they could use a dust reboot system for their advantage. And then we have 30 MLS clubs, but like 4 of them have created players. Tyler Adams from New York Red Bulls, Tim Ream from New York Red Bulls, Aaron Long from the New York Red Bulls, and then, a handful of others like Gio Reyna from the NYCFC system. And
Joe Scally.
But what I'm saying is, like, there's like Philly Union,
Matt Turner,
FC Dallas. Well, hold on. Philly Union, the 2 New York teams, and FC Dallas pretty much provided the other bit of players. 4 clubs on their prerogative. And it's like, that's what you're leaning your entire national team system on. The fact that a coach is good at dual national recruiting, finding Americans in foreign systems. And thankfully, 4 MLS clubs decided to start training kids after this league being 25 years old, after knowing forever we need youth development. Bradenton, the high school program, failed. The DA failed. And U.S. Soccer's got all these lawsuits, and they're just in the courtroom all day. And they're a federation that answers to the state organizations, and all they want is their youth soccer and their amateur fees. You know what I'm saying? It's like, for crying out loud, I just feel the mechanism to solve our problems still isn't there. It's just a mechanism to talk about our problems over and over again, and to be fed that we're fine. Round of 16 is fine. And I feel the success of the national team is just happening in spite of anything U.S. Soccer's doing. And if I'm the president of U.S. Soccer, it's like, mach in 30 MLS clubs, get their training programs ready to go. It should have been done 12 years ago.
But the academies
it's happening now.
Are happening. Yeah. I mean, I guess
however, someone threw a bunch of names at me. It's like, oh yeah, how about this? Kate Cowell from San Jose and Caden Clark from the Rebels, and gave me 1 or 2 names per club. 1 or 2.
Caden, Jaden, Graydon.
Caden, Jaden, and Cade. And it's just like, these names, they're already 20. None of these guys are world beaters. Like, is Cade Cowell going to be the next great winger? He's already 20. I don't know. These youth kids are good, but only good enough for MLS. None of these guys are set up for success in Europe.
But there's all these kids. I mean, okay.
How good are any of these kids going to be in 4 years, do you think? How good is Kate Cowell? Do you think Kate Cowell is the answer?
I don't think Kate Cowell is the answer, but it's a numbers game, right? Most prospects don't pan out. Like, that's true everywhere.
So I agree with you. It's a numbers game. So don't throw 2 average kids in my face as the academy's product. Kate Cowell needs to be 10th on the list.
But these things take so much time. You have these. It takes a long time. You have all these. I mean, look at this. It's 4 years. 4 years to now, it's night and day. Look at this squad. Look at this. You have people. You have people starting in the Premier League. You have people starting in the Bundesliga. You have, people coming down like that wasn't the case 4 years ago.
No,
and
but
it's
our
only gonna
pipeline,
continue.
but that's because what I'm saying is we send our kids to real training centers away ASAP, which is fine. I support that. But our domestic
Yeah, I mean,
pipeline, it depends, it's entirely a for-profit system and depends entirely whether it makes money or not. And the minute there's no profit, it'll get cut. And that's the entire program our national team's government, U.S. Soccer, is leaning on. They're just like, our development academies failed. Sorry. Let's hope MLS is for-profit private institution. They'll create our players. Good luck,
but it
guys.
seems
I
like
wish you
that's
the
the
best.
it seems like that's the only way that people develop at a high level. It's not like you can just grab someone and put them in a room, whatever. It's like, they develop in these competitive environments at a high level where there's other people that are good, and that's why they go to Europe, and that's why the European clubs want the kids younger. I'm not saying everything's fine. You can still see. I read a stat today that well, anyway, you don't even need stats. This, like, even in MLS, like the attacking, for example, attacking midfielders are very rarely Americans. Like the American players get pigeonholed into being defenders or goalies, or and so it gets a little thinner. We have to get
The
Yunus
10s, 9s,
Musa
and
from
wingers
the 10s, 9s, and where
are from Argentina.
The pool is much thinner. They come from other
Right.
places. So yeah, there's still, and for every like Georgi Mihailovic, there's like 3 or 4 Higuains and Rodriguez's and Talis Magnos or whatever. The kids come from other places. So yeah, there's still a lot of work to do. But I mean, if you want to be a glass half full kind of guy, you can certainly point to a lot of good stuff happening, and that's not going to stop happening. It's just going to keep. There's going to be more kids, and there's going to be all kinds of pathways. MLS is going to get better. So the people who go through there are going to be improving. Some kids are going to go to Europe, and some are going to do well. Some are going to flame out, and they're going to come back. It's like, it's just, but there's more and more talent coming through, and that's going to have an impact eventually.
Right. I hope so.
Listen, U.S. Soccer seems to be a pretty sleepy bunch.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not going to argue.
Every 4
not
years,
going to argue with you there.
Every 4 years, it's like, we're at the World Cup. Are we going to win? It's like, I don't know. Are we? Maybe. It's like, that's your job. Maybe it's the German in me. If Stefan is U.S. Soccer president, I solve that crap. That stuff gets solved. It's a mathematics game. We have to know ahead of time that the World Cup is too competitive to flip a coin. You have to know ahead of time you have the quality to even make a run for it. And that's that club we're talking about.
But then some other other teams, other countries have this problem too.
But we have the resource to solve it. And I just I see an organizational 2 steps forward, 1 step backward nonsense. It's getting in our way.
But I would also say it's not always burn it all down. If you go from 2018 to now, a lot has gone well, and I think
I agree. But I don't think U.S. Soccer had much to do with any of that. U.S. Soccer didn't have anything to do with any of that.
I think in terms of the talent development, the MLS academies have done a lot of good. MLS has sort of also re-evaluated their philosophy of becoming more of a selling. They were now more okay with developing young talent and then having them move on versus getting over the hill Europeans. All that is positive, and I guess U.S. Soccer doesn't take a lot of credit, but like, I mean,
Bayern München buying Alphonso Davies, MLS was like, which they should have done years ago.
Yeah,
and then Bayern München set up a kinship with FC Dallas, and then that led to Chris Richards, and I don't think it led to Weston McKennie. Weston McKennie was around Texas at that time, and essentially they saw value in our players that MLS can make profit on. And I'm worried that MLS is going to use that as a totally separate business model from their league. They're like, we'll hire Argentinians to play the games. Our schmuck fans will pay the season tickets for them. And our young American kids will develop and sell off to Europe. And that'll be our 2 business models. Where in Brazil, those rosters are 20 of the 25 roster. It's 24 or 25 Brazilians per team playing, crushing it, and the best go get sold off.
But they get right. That's like it's like isn't that, I don't know what you know this better than I do, but isn't that like 12% of Brazil's exports is soccer export? GOP is soccer players selling soccer players. Yeah, I think
all I know is that the Brazilian league breaks even on its ticket sales.
I think it's an enormous. I don't remember what the exact number was, but I was like, wow, actually, it's a significant percentage of the gross domestic product of Brazil is selling.
And it's something to look up to. Can we copy that? No, not yet. But we can split the difference. We can go towards something like that. I just want our players to I don't know. It's just. I think we can always do better. And right now, I think U.S. Soccer is being like, thank God MLS, this private entity in New York, but it has interest entirely in profits. That's all you have to... entirely in the 10 billionaires that own the league. Thank God they're doing something because we're not. So I'm just like, U.S. Soccer, that's you.
Yeah, and
I think to solve that.
I think that is true. There isn't the same. Yeah, there's not the same scrutiny or the same level of pressure as in other countries. Although on the other hand, like, what has the DFB done lately to
great segue
to help things?
So Please. The DFB just got a new president for their Bundesliga. This lady, I always forget her name.
DFL, so, yeah. Well, she's already out, right?
They want to get rid of her ASAP because she is bringing up changes. She's the lady that introduced the concept of maybe having a playoff system. She's like, we need to change German soccer because it's broken. And all the old hard heads are just like, what? Get rid of her. It's like, we ain't broken. And I think she's on her way out, which is a shame because she was the only one talking sense that whole.
But is that the reason? I don't know. The way
that's what I'm hearing.
I have to dig into it more. It sounded more like she wasn't delivering. She wasn't delivering. She made a bunch of promises that she didn't deliver on.
She's been there for 9 months, Bjorn.
Yeah, I don't know. How do you? It's so un-German to fire somebody.
To fire a woman. She wanted to reevaluate the 50+1 rule, and I think they got to get rid of her fast because of that. And we talked about this before. It's like German soccer's got to give. Something's got to change because again, 10 years in a row. Call me crazy, but they ain't solving shit. And during that 10 years of time, the German national team has been eliminated in 2 World Cups at the group stage. All right, a lot has changed since 2014. And Bierhoff himself said that we need to keep up with the Joneses. He built a national academy in Frankfurt, I think, and stuff. Unfortunately, it led to nothing. They built a really cool soccer museum in Dortmund, by the way. Did we talk about this?
No, I haven't been.
I watched this German vlogger, and he was in Dortmund. He went to the museum. Right. It looks amazing. Oh, I want to go. We need Schnitzel boys to go to the Euro Cup 2024, and we're going to Dortmund. We're going to the German Soccer Museum.
Let's do it.
We're going. Yeah, so I mean, and then they got rid of Bierhoff. What the heck does that mean? They're going to keep Flick. Apparently, Freddy Bobic is linked with the new general manager position.
Yeah,
I would love for it to be someone like a Ralf Rangnick, because Ralf Rangnick is a professional.
That is not good. I think there was some rumors about that it would be Rangnick and Tuchel. Rangnick would be the organizer, and Tuchel would be the coach, but they're like, this does not jive. I mean,
how would you feel if Tuchel being coach? No, thank you. Tuchel's not a good coach. Stop giving him jobs.
What are you talking about? He won the Champions League.
Won one title. And for 5 major, he keeps falling up. He won 1 Champions League with Chelsea.
I think he's a prickly guy. I think he gets, but I don't think he's a bad coach. But those guys are. I mean, Rangnick would turn the whole DFB upside down. I don't think they're ready.
I think in a good way, though.
And it seems like the guy in charge right now is Watzke. BVB,
right, I saw that.
President Watzke is basically the #1 guy in German soccer. So
I don't like Watzke either.
What could go wrong? Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see how this goes. Again, also sort of similarly to the US. The Euros in Germany, as we've been saying, so the pressure's on, and they got to deliver. If they go out in the group stage, then that's it. That's it for German soccer as a world power. I don't know. We'll see.
I think like the U.S. though, all they're going to do is wait. They're like, Musiala looks good. Let's hope others show up.
I mean, I think this team looked pretty good, actually. I don't have a lot of beef with their they got unlucky against Japan. They played well against Spain. They beat Costa Rica. And then it was math, the weird Spain-Costa Rica game sort of threw everything off in terms of goal differential, etc.
You're being too lenient.
This was not. I feel very different. I said this before. I feel very different. 2018, I was like, everybody has to go. This team is crap. Löw is in his Vegas phase. There's no defensive midfielder. What is even this lineup? He's never seen a lateral pass he didn't like. This time, I don't feel that way. I feel like they're going to be okay. And I think Hansi Flick should get a second cycle. I think he has the potential to figure it out. He's going to learn from his mistakes. I think the squad is pretty good.
Germany is sort of the exception in that rule. Because historically, the assistant, it's always been, in German soccer tradition, the coach has always been like a caretaker for long periods of time.
Yeah, and then
as the assistant takes over, and he does it for long periods of time.
Yeah.
It's happened many, many times. From Sepp Herberger to Helmut Schön to Jupp Derval, where it maybe broke that pattern. And then Beckenbauer took over for a long time. Then Berti Vogts for a while.
I think in club teams, consistency is good. It's valued. Obviously, 2 World Cup cycles, 8 years by club standards is like an absolute eternity. Like there's very few coaches last that long. So yeah, it's a little different. Anyway, it was lovely talking to you about all this.
Yeah, we're going for it. Our future's bright. Do you want to talk about MLS for 60 seconds? I know Gareth Lagerwey is doing great.
Gareth Lagerwey is now in Atlanta.
LA Galaxy got punished for spending money on players.
Yeah, Wilfried Nancy is at the crew.
Can I do another rant? I do another little rant?
You're not going to be able to do it in 60 seconds. I could guarantee you that.
All I'm going to say is MLS keeps priding with, we have 40 players in the World Cup, all eliminated by the round of 16, by the way. I think there's only one player left on the bench, Argentina. So what does that say? So you have a league where the players aren't good enough to make it past the quarters, which is whatever. And then you have clubs trying to splash cash to get quality players, and the league punishes those clubs and says, don't sign players for that quality. You can't afford it. They can afford it, but we have these dumb rules protecting the crappy owners so they can't afford it.
The flip side.
If you want to be the best league in the world, then you have to pay for the best players.
Well, it doesn't even work though, unfortunately. Like in the same as Inter Miami, they got punished for signing these people, and you're like, what? They weren't even
LAFC
very good.
Has to be next, right? LAFC has to be next.
We'll find out.
They've got to be.
But if you're good, they turn a blind eye, it seems like. Anyway.
I hope so.
That's why we are a good combo. You are a glass half empty kind of guy. I'm a glass half full kind of guy.
You're right. I'm very depressed. I was supposed to pay how much for season tickets, and you're punishing the club for paying for players? Damn! How much money do you want from me for this crap? By the way, the USA Bosnia game tickets start at $43. And it's like, I was at that game last year. Christian Roldan's going to be the biggest star on that field. $43 for Christian Roldan? No thanks.
It's a 2-digit amount. You can't even get a Taylor Swift T-shirt for that kind of money. That is a reasonable. That is a reasonable.
You need to buy clearance like my legacy thing. No. Christian Roldan against Bosnia, which players ever heard of? I'll give you $20 for that. It was a half-empty stadium last year. I should remember. I was a third of the stadium.
If we're talking about MLS, I am still on free agent watch. Alex Collins and Sean Johnson are free agents. I hope they come back. I'm not sure they both will.
So is Aaron Long, I think. I could, if he comes back and wants to be a better player.
Didn't Fab Romano have some announcement like he's going to? Where's he going?
No, I know 3 different MLS clubs have been asking about him. But I haven't. Let me look that up right now.
I thought there was something. No. Like even before the World Cup, they was like, "Oh, he's going here," and everybody's like, "Huh, that's weird that he's not waiting until."
Sounders in the mix for Aaron Long.
Oh, maybe I must.
Sounders have been linked.
So that's weird. I was incorrect. All right. Well,
I think he was linked to Manchester City. I think he was going to be their new starting center back.
He was going to be their kit manager, or like, what is he?
No. Associate kit manager. Kit manager's a legend. He's been there forever. You can't replace him. Old one eye, they call him. He only has one eye.
I think this is my hot take. I don't think we will see Aaron Long again starting for the national team.
Oh, I was gonna say ever. I'm like, what do you know? I think Iran got their hostage. We'll never. See Aaron Long alive. He'll
play for a club. I don't think he'll play for the national team again.
Yeah. If I'm New York Red Bulls, we just announced we finally had Sebastian Drastel, our new scout, head of scouting, coming by. I think he's 18 years old or something. But if I'm New York Red Bulls, I'll pay whatever it takes to get Alexander Collins to wear a Red Bull jersey next year.
Oh my God. Fucking.
I made it be like, you don't have to move. You don't have to move.
Don't even joke. Don't even joke about that. I would be so upset. I would be so upset. There's no way. What? There's no way you can pay him enough
a year, right? I'd pay him $1 million.
There's not enough money for him to go to the Red Bull. No way. He's not
for
going
you,
to Red
not
Bulls.
for him. Ask him.
Oh my God, that would be so upsetting.
All right. So heard it here first. Alex Collins to the Red Bulls.
All right, I'm playing.
Happy World Cup. Have fun at the quarterfinals. We'll see you guys at the conclusion of the quarterfinals, perchance. When it's all over.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, when are they? They're Friday, Saturday. No, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday. Saturday, Sunday.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or something.
Friday, Saturday.
We will. You'll see on YouTube. Let's look up.
Hold on, I know this stuff. It's Friday, Saturday.
You will see us. What?
Perhaps
Monday night, like usual, or should we do Sunday night? You'll see us next Monday night on our usual time. Enjoy the quarterfinals. We'll talk quarterfinals next Monday. We'll preview the semifinals.
Yeah.
We'll preview Morocco versus England and Holland versus what's the other one? Holland versus Croatia.
France, England?
No. England and Morocco on one side.
England?
And Holland, Croatia on the other side. All right. And then we have a Holland-England final that the Dutch finally win and they join the club. Make it 9. All right. Bye-bye, everyone. Tschüss. Auf Wiedersehen.
Bye.